the home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
Views.
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
Sports.
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
And music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Welcome everyone to Vuga Online Radio. This is me, Dj Hotlane. You know, Cebu Africa's leaders in sustainability. This is your show, the favorite show, like Africa's leaders in sustainability. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for being with us through this journey, right through and through. Sbonge. And of course, just because you guys, your support, we still keep going. We're still going strong. And we're still able to source the best guests and to give us more knowledge, to help us learn and grow and to make a difference like Xavier. So I'm Nkululeko Dlamini from Johannesburg, South Africa. Nkululeko Dlamini is in renewable energy. Finally, we have someone who is in the renewable energy space on the show. So I can't wait. I can't wait to learn. How are you doing, Nkululeko? Are you right?
I'm good. How are you? It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you to the listeners as well.
No, it's a pleasure to have you, man. Thank you so much. And don't tell the listeners my name. Just tell them. Yeah.
Okay. DJ Hotlane.
Let's keep it on the AKA. If they want to know, they must ask. But yeah, man. Thank you so much once again. And yeah, so to the listeners, vuganradio.co.za, you can catch us on there. Tell your friends, please share the link. And on YouTube as well. It's Vuga Central on YouTube, Vuga Online Radio on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. Elon Musk knows about us. Mark Zuckerberg knows about us. Everybody knows. So please do tell your friends and tell the young ones as well, because they need this knowledge more than some of us do. Because they are the future, man. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Nkululeko right after this mini break. We're going to introduce Nkululeko. He's going to tell us about himself, what he's done, where he's going, and yeah, what motivates him, what keeps him ticking, and what's happening in this renewable energy sector. There's quite a lot of changes that are happening. I know here in South Africa, Eskom is transitioning into renewable energy as well. And it's a very interesting time for the African continent, man, in terms of energy, especially how will we be able to sustain ourselves as a continent, at the same time reducing the carbon emissions, going for net zero 2030 or just coming down to 1.5 degrees and not making sure that we wipe ourselves out. So we want to know what's going to happen if we move away from the fossils or we reduce the fossils and coal mining and the oils. Just what's the solution? But let's go on a quick break. And then when we come back, Nkuleko's going to tell us what's going on.
the home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Welcome to Africa's Leaders in Sustainability. Thank you again. I hope you guys got your coffee, got your water. Nkululeko Dlamini, Nkululeko. Thank you so much for joining once again. I'm going to ask that you introduce yourself, man. Please introduce yourself to your fellow Africans and just tell the whole continent who you are and when and how you got into this renewable energy sector.
Right. Yeah, I'm Nkululeko Dlamini. Born and raised in Johannesburg, the East Rand. I spent most of my childhood here, and then I moved to Cape Town. So when I moved to Cape Town, to go and study. I did engineering in Cape Town, at University of Cape Town. I did engineering, mechanical to be specific. And then from there, I then went into the renewable energy space. Yeah, I think when I started my first job when I was working, I think that's when I fell in love with the space, and ever since then I've never looked back. I've moved around different companies, doing different roles within the space. But yeah, I've never looked back. I've been in the space and I really love the space. I think there's a huge potential of growth, especially in the African continent. South Africa, I think when it comes to the continent itself, it is leading. I hope and I wish the other countries are also following in this journey. So yeah, that's in a nutshell, that is me. So yeah, I've been around in the space. There's quite a lot of things that I've done. There's quite a lot of roles that I've done. Especially in these projects, I think I know from the beginning to the end of the project, from concept phase, all the way to concept designs, constructions, operation and maintenance as well. So the entire chain of the space, I've been involved in it. So yeah.
Okay. So you've got the life cycle of developing the facilities, your wind, solar, hydro. I'm not sure how many types of renewable energy facilities or besides wind, solar, hydro, and I know wind, solar, hydro. How many is there?
So when it comes to renewable, of course we've got wind and solar. Solar is big. I think solar is leading, then pretty much wind. But in the continent, one that has always been there, which is hydro. Hydro has always been there. Most of the African countries are using hydro. South Africa, we also do have hydro as well. So hydro is big in the continent. So there's wind, there's solar, there's hydro, there's geothermal. You also have biogas, which uses waste. You also have landfill gas, which uses waste to energy. You also have I've counted geothermal, or biomass. Biomass is also one of the renewable energy sources. So those are some of the different sources that we have. But I think currently what's big, of course, hydro has been there for years, but solar is one of the biggest, especially in South Africa with the renewable energy program that started around about 2011, if from 2010, 2011, which has developed quite a lot of I think from 2011 when it started, till now, the contribution of renewables, specifically wind and solar, it's pretty much around 11% of South Africa's energy production. So we still have a long way to go. So that's pretty much about 80 something percent is still generated by coal. But yeah, we still have a long way to go with renewable energy. But I think slowly but surely we're pretty much getting there.
And Nkululeko, in terms of, I know you said hydro has been around for a while, but now in terms of the continent, let's start with South Africa, where you've done most of your projects. Which energy source do you think will help drive the Sustainable Development Goals agenda quicker between all the energy sources that you've mentioned, and why?
This might be controversial, but I think nuclear also it somehow falls part of that renewable section somehow, but not really. There's a whole lot of debate about that. But in terms of energy production, if we want to, because nuclear doesn't release gases, a lot of gas emissions, as much as coal. So if we want to scale up our energy production, nuclear is the way to go. But that's a story for another day. Because it also provides baseload. But however, I think solar, when you look at renewables, the standard, but solar is the way to go. I think currently some of the biggest challenges is energy storage, which is the battery system. We're currently facing challenges when it comes to the battery system, because the current batteries that we have, they would last pretty much about 4, 5, 6 hours. So that's the energy, that's the challenge that we have. So solar is the way to go, wind is the way to go, because I mean of the resources are always available. And we still pretty much have, for solar, we still pretty much have huge amount of land that is available within the country as well. So I think the most challenging thing is battery storage. If we can, there's a lot of research being done. There's a lot of work that is being done within the battery storage system. But I think if we can get that right, and then we can be able to sustain. Because if you have a battery, when the sun is not shining, so when the sun is shining, you generate electricity, you use it, and then the excess electricity you put it in your battery. And when the sun is no longer shining, you then release the energy that is in your battery, you use that energy. So if we can get a battery that could pretty much last about 12 to about 18 hours, then that will be a good thing, because when the sun is not shining, we'll still be able to provide energy. So the challenge is the consistency of energy and the energy storage. But to answer your question, solar is the way to go.
Okay. No, I'm also all for controversy when I'm Nkululeko. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak on the controversial side of things, because we need these challenging conversations, my brother. Everything needs to be put on the table, and then we let the people choose, let the people decide which one they go for. We understand.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Yeah.
That's the main thing. It's not only about the select few that are making decisions. Well, that's my opinion.
I mean,
Uh,
the nuclear plant that we have in Cape Town, which is Kubek, could probably be about the amount of electricity that it generates. It would pretty be much be about maybe two of coal-fired power station. It could produce twice the amount of one coal power station. So you can imagine. So in terms of scale, nuclear can produce quite a lot. And in terms of emission, it also cuts a lot of emissions. So that's why, and a lot of people have. I mean, some of the issues with nuclear is safety. I mean, there's some stuff happened in the past. I think in Japan, Fukushima or something. But some things happened because of safety. There were explosions, so people still have they fear that what if something happens in a nuclear power station, and then the entire, because of the gases that are there, so it could affect quite a lot of things. So those are the safety issues that people have and are skeptical about nuclear. But there's a lot of, of course, when you work in dangerous areas, there's always high safety measures and precautions that are done to ensure that safety is at its high level. But people, people will always be people. They'll say, "Nah, we don't want this. We don't want that." But yeah,
I know. Danko. Small.
yes.
We'll be back. Such a break. Such a break.
How do you know the life of personal coach you're about to work with is who they say they are? How do you know if they can do the job? At the Africa Board for Coaching, Consulting and Coaching Psychology, we can tell you. So, before you share your secrets and spend your money, check with us first. Visit www.abccccp.com or call us on 012-751-7608. The ABCCP, the professional body for coaches.
Welcome to Africa's Leaders in Sustainability. This is on Online Radio.co.za. Don't forget, guys. Don't forget. Hey. Tell everyone, please share. We are speaking. Yeah, today's guest is very forget. There's a lot going on, but we're gonna bring everything out to light. For now, let's go on a lighter note. Nkululeko. What do you enjoy about renewable energy sector, being in the renewable energy sector, and what have been some of your highlights or special moments?
I think being in this sector, there's quite a lot of things that I've experienced within the sector. As I've said, I mean, I've done projects from concept all the way to operation and maintenance. But I think mostly it's the impact that these projects have in society. Sitting and doing, sitting in the office doing some of these designs, knowing that maybe doing a design of a project that is in somewhere in the rural areas, right? I know that in the next 5-10 years, this design that I'm currently busy with at this moment is gonna bring electricity to someone else who's in a village somewhere, who has never experienced electricity before. That on its own is something that keeps me going each and every time. Knowing that I am contributing to keep South Africa's lights on, knowing that, because without electricity, the economy of the country cannot function. So knowing that my contribution contributes to improving the economy of the country. I mean, I've seen this during my time in construction as well. You look at the locals around the area where you guys are doing construction. You see the impact that it has, because mostly it's areas that are far from the cities, that are far from the main districts. So there's high unemployment rates in some of those areas. So when you come with such a project, so you give people hope, you give people energy. I mean, some of these projects also have so there's the renewable energy program that the government is running, which has contributed to the success of renewable energy. So in all these projects, there's a portion for a portion of percentage revenue for the community, for the surrounding communities within that particular area. So that percentage revenue is for the development of the communities around that project. So be it they build sports facilities, they build schools, they build whatever it is, just to try and improve the the status of the surrounding communities. So when you go in those areas and see the excitement in people's faces and see the hope that people get, so those are some of the things that when I think about eh, the space, or I sit down and think about my job, those are some of the moments where I look back and say, I am making a difference in this space. So that's something that literally keeps me going. And I mean, knowing it also that this also reduces the carbon emissions, especially in our country. I mean, we I think we are ranked in the top 15 in terms of carbon emissions in the whole world. We emit about 1.3% of the whole world's carbon emissions. We are in the African continent, we are the biggest emitters. So you can imagine. So doing these projects also contributes to that reduction of those carbon emissions. So there's quite a lot of things that when I sit down and think about, I then look back and say, you know what? I am doing something that is really benefiting the country today and also in the future, because the future generation will be the ones that will benefit mostly from the work that we're currently doing.
Okay. I know. They're listening to you. They're listening to you. And I hope they're paying attention. Because it's very important for us to be aware, man, of how I like how you bring the impact that we are currently making. It's very important to be aware that what we are doing right now, as we are sitting and talking right now, that will is beneficial for someone else, somewhere else, at another time. So these projects that you are doing, they'll benefit somewhere else. So our actions also, they have an impact into how much emissions we contribute globally. And like you said, 80+% we're still depending on coal. Like you said, globally we contribute X number of emissions, and we are one of the top emitters in the continent. So, my brother, is amazing, and I just keep doing what you're doing, and don't get discouraged. I get discouraged sometimes, but such is life.
Exactly. I think sometimes because of what we do, we focus too much on what we do and never sit down and reflect and see the impact that what we're doing is having in the entire world. So sometimes it's good to sit down, relax, stop focusing on what you're doing. Just sit down, reflect, and think about the impact of what you're doing. I think that's one other thing that makes me keep going, just to see, to have an overview of everything that I'm doing. and the contribution that I'm making in making the world a better place. So that's something that also helps.
So we are servants. That's what you are saying.
Exactly.
We are here to serve.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. On that note, we're gonna go on a quick break, and then want to ask you to advise the listeners out there, because they're listening to you. So I'm pretty sure there's some that would like to get your advice in terms of the renewable energy sector, how you can participate, join, what they can do in their own backyards. Where can they find information, all those things when we come back, and how they can be servants, how they can serve as well, or what they need to not do, or might not to do now also are important. So when we come back, let's go on a quick break.
The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is a professional development center for professionals who aim to improve their professional standing. This means that the learning programs we run are more than just academic programs. They are work-based programs that focus on leveraging your current experience as a professional to build your overall profile. A year down the line, the Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is developing into a preferred center for professional development in Pretoria, with 8 professional development faculties including accounting, teaching, entrepreneurship, as well as IT and many more. For more information, go to acwbl.org or dial +27 12 751 7608. The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning, where work is learning.
Welcome back. This is Africa's Leaders in Sustainability, Nkululeko Dlamini, the future of renewable energy, right here on vugaonlineradio.co.za. You know us, we've got your back. In terms of the future, siyenza ibe clean, ibe green, ibe schoon and blue. So asivukuleke ukuthi wenza njani emoyeni, siklinela umhlaba, sikhanyisela siye on. Thank you so much, my brother, for your time and for your knowledge sharing with us.
Thank you very
I'd
much,
like to
DJ
know.
Hotlane.
Sure. I'd like to know, man. So please encourage communities, children, parents. Talk to them, please, in terms of what they can do, what they're not supposed to do. I'm A's and C's in jail of how we can contribute to reducing these carbon emissions out there.
I think specifically in the renewable energy space, there's a lot that everyone can do. There's the large scale section, and there's also the small scale section. The small scale section is, putting solar panels on top of your roof. You can do that. That does not only save the environment, but it also saves you cost in terms of buying electricity, because the current cost of renewable energy is about 60-80 cents as compared to the 120 that you get from Eskom or some. But yeah, I think when it comes to contribution, you can contribute in a lot of different ways. You can either contribute directly where you want to be involved within the space, which is maybe pursuing a career within the space, or you can be involved indirectly as well, pursuing other careers that are supporting within the space. So there's quite a lot of things that you can do. I mean, even in rural areas, not only specific to your solar, you look at things like your biogas, which is also part of renewable energy. I mean, there's biogas digesters that some of the rural areas are doing. So that also is a contribution to the reduction of carbon emissions. So there's a lot of ways that people can contribute within the space.
All right. And then, am I not to do's?
Let's stop. Let's reduce burning coal. Let's reduce burning coal. It contributes to a lot of a lot of emissions. But I mean, in simple terms, let's just take care of our environment. Let's remember that we are here, and at some point, we are going to leave. So let's leave this place a better place than we found it. So I think that's the most important thing. I mean, things, sometimes we make things as complicated. Simple things like picking up a piece of paper that you see on the floor that's cleaning the environment. You pick it up, you put it in the bin. That small difference. If everybody does that small difference, then that's a huge impact. So if everybody do a little piece of the small thing, things that would not even take you a second, a minute, you do that piece, and if everybody do their share, that's a huge impact. That's a huge impact. So I think at times we look at things, even when we look at these blends, we look at these blends that are there, the targets that are there, we look at them in a bigger picture. So we then think that this is something huge to achieve. But if we break them into smaller pieces, and then we share those pieces amongst each other, and that amount of work that the individuals will do, it's small, but collectively, when we combine everything, it then amounts to something big. So the small things, let's not do the things that will harm our environment and affect the future generation. Let's try and keep our environment as clean as possible. Let's try and reduce as much carbon emissions as we can. Let's try and preserve ocean life as we can. So the smallest things that we can do in terms of keeping our environment safe and healthy, I think that's what people shouldn't do, just polluting
Okay.
the environment. Yes.
All right. No, Swan. I think they are listening to you and they heard you. So please, guys, make sure, don't abuse, let's not abuse let's not feel entitled in jail. It's abuse who we are, because entitlement here too is saying we can throw away paper over there. I can use as much electricity as I want. I'm not doing anything to contribute to pollution. But electricity be up, So those small things, switch off the light, switch off the appliance you don't need. Pick up the papers. If you go to the beach, grab a bag, collect, throw it in the bin, and you continue with your beach walk or your suntan. So there's small things, like Nkululeko said, please do. And also, Nkululeko, thank you so much for Skatsakument and for speaking to the listeners in the African continent at large. And I'm not sure if you can provide us with two answers to two questions. So the question is
Okay, you can ask the questions.
The first question is, if you were to get, if God was to ask you, what for one thing that you want that would for one thing that you want, one change that you would like to see in the world. Hey, English, it's not my friend. But anyway, we are friends. One thing that one change that you would like to see in the world, and God asks you, what would that be? Uzoti?
I think in the whole world, one thing that one change that I would like to see is everyone having access to the basic needs. If everyone in the world have access to the basic needs, then I'd be happy. I'd be happy. I'd be the most happiest person in the world.
Okay.
So I think that's, for me, that's the most important thing. I think sometimes the basic needs are important. Like,
That's fine.
okay, let's do. Okay, it's fine. Let me not explain it further. Okay, cool. The basic needs for me.
Okay. Yeah, like shelter, food, clothing.
Yes.
Lights,
Access to electricity as well. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, standard. And then, what's your favorite quote from who?
My favorite quote is from Aristotle. It says, "We are what we repeatedly do, and therefore excellence is not an act, but a habit."
Ish. Okay. I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, lastly, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they find you? How do they get in contact with you? You're on social media?
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn, Nkululeko Dlamini. On the socials, I'm not really that active on the socials, but I think I mean, if you really want to communicate with me properly, LinkedIn, Nkululeko Dlamini, you can get me there.
All right. So thank you, Sibonge, isikhathi sakho, your knowledge, and for sharing yourself with the entire continent. Sibonge on behalf of the listeners and on behalf of Africa's leaders in sustainability. Team Yonke, Vuga Online Radio, Sibonge also for the platform to share stories of amazing people like yourself. And I'd like to speak to you some more, man. So hopefully, we'll have you back on our show. With us, see when, if you have time at the time.
Yes. I definitely like that as well. I think there's more that I can share. So we just had a little time, but I think, yeah.
No problem. I know, standard. Thank you so much, listeners out there, for joining us. Thank you. Please tell your friends. We're the socials. Can stay up to date on YouTube, Vuga Online Radio, Vuga Central, Vuga Online Radio.co.za. Please catch up, follow up, subscribe, and our WhatsApp, and Vuga Online Radio. Elsin, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the day. Good labor. Blessings to you and your family, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Hot. Bye, listeners. Thank you. Sharp.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
Views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.